It literally, I came in and almost passed out. It was so hot.
30 seconds. All right, I'm all set.
I am rolling as well.
Okay. All right, we good? Everybody sounds good? Everybody straight?
Yep.
So I'm just going to start a little off with a little bit of a briefing. We did have a triple shooting last night in the 800 block of 26th Street, and during that shooting, as a result, we had 3 juveniles, 2 15-year-olds, and 1 17-year-old that suffered gunshot wounds. Now we received numerous calls, and we also had a shot spotter activation. Again, our technology in that particular area, we were notified of shots fired. Officers responded. We found 3 individuals that had suffered gunshot wounds. We transported them to an area hospital, and then went into processing the crime scene and collecting evidence, sending the detectives to the hospital to talk to our victims, checking with individuals in the neighborhood and the technology if we had any footage or any camera footage or any ring camera footage in the area that might have picked up what had occurred. Now, we did recover several shell casings in that location. The shooting happened, like I said, about 10 minutes till 9 o'clock, and detectives have been working through the night. In fact, I believe the lead detective is still here. We're actually waiting on some updates from him as we talk here today. But so I want to thank the community for information they have given us coming forward, or provided that the detectives are following up on leads. Forensics processed the crime scene, and we'll run all the evidence, the shell casings that we recovered through our ballistics or through our NIBIN system to see if any of those shell casings are linked to any other shooting or any other incidents that we've had here in Newport News or in the surrounding jurisdictions that might tie in and help us, give us some avenue of a direction to go. Now, we'll share with you that, again, the shooting happened about 10 minutes till 9. So with about 12 hours, we have located what we would believe to be the suspect vehicle in this shooting. And we are, at this point, executing a search warrant to search the contents of that vehicle to see if there is any information or any evidence inside. It is our hope that it will continue, like we talk about being a puzzle, that we'll hopefully find some pieces there will help frame and put together what exactly occurred and why. I just want to share, this is not a random act. We believe that the individuals involved know each other, have known each other for quite some time, and have some arguments that have been going on, and it has escalated to, once again, picking up a firearm, pointing it in the direction of others, and the result is what we see here in Newport News and what we're seeing around the country, continuing with this epidemic that we're facing with gun violence. Individuals not able to de-escalate tensions, anger, frustration, whatever it might be, but it causes harm to others. Like I said, we have 3 teenagers that are currently in the hospital recovering. We still believe, I should have said, I mean, honestly, we still believe that all of these injuries are not considered to be life-threatening. But by the grace of God, we're not planning 3 funerals today. That's concerning to me. Just this morning, after I got the full brief and update, the phone calls through the night, but meeting with the assistant chief over our investigations, this morning we had about 100 third graders from Achievable Dream Elementary School that were here in our building just downstairs, where you all came in this morning. And they were here to meet and talk with police officers, to get a tour of the building, and I got to spend some time with them. My message to them was, you all matter to me, that I care about you. You're the future. You all can do whatever you want to be. And they had questions, and as I came back up and met with the other assistant chiefs, how impactful gun violence is to our communities, the influence it has on younger generations, that that see that or grow up around that or experience that. And it points back to what we talk about, that it cannot just be a police response. Often we're called and the situation has already occurred or it's too late. That gun violence is in our city, around here in the Hampton Roads area, in our state and across our country. It's going to take all hands on deck to address it. I remember the 4th of July, we had a great event here. 4,000 or 5,000 people came down to see fireworks. And I remember that morning looking at shootings that happened across the country over that weekend. And the incidents where multiple people are struck or injured with gunfire. And it doesn't matter what city or what locality, it seems to be repetitive. Individuals that know each other, individuals that have some issue back and forth, that can't de-escalate, that resort to gun violence as solving. So those things, they're concerning to me. I can tell you I am thoroughly impressed with the detectives, the work that they've done through the night, our forensics division, patrol officers who responded to gather information quickly. And I want to thank the citizens who have come forward and provided information to us already. Talking and working with our victims and our technology has helped us locate what we believe to be the suspect vehicle. One of the reasons I stepped out just before we started was to see if anything had been recovered in that search, as it's just now starting. So again, just going forward, the call of shots fired in the area of the 800 block of 26th Street last night, about 10 minutes till 9. We found that when we responded, we found 3 individuals, 2 15-year-old males and a 17-year-old male that had suffered gunshot wounds. They were transported to a hospital. We did recover shell casings in that vicinity, that area. We don't believe this is a random act. We believe the individuals are known to each other. We believe this goes back to a argument that has just escalated to where now guns have been implanted in this ongoing beef, if you will. I don't, like I said, we don't believe that this is not a random act. Shooting was intentional. My heart goes out to the 3 individuals that suffered gunshot wounds. They go out to their family. But also, I think about the individuals who pulled the triggers last night. When those individuals are identified and arrested, that impacts their family. It impacts the families who live in the 800 block of 26th Street. Impacts friends. So the frustration I have is that the first response is just to pick up a firearm and pull a trigger. It's like there's, I guess in doing this job for 30 years and talking with the detectives and the experience we have in the department, a respect for life, and it's concerning to me. It's concerning to me that I don't see that, and I see some of our victims being younger and younger. We had our ComStat or Intel briefing today, like we do every Thursday at 1 o'clock. And as we track, and in police work, we track a lot. Increases, decreases, crimes, trends, patterns, number of rounds fired, and we also track how many juveniles have suffered gunshot wounds in our community this year. How many guns have we recovered off the street? We've recovered about 125 more firearms this year than last year. I believe the last count on Monday was 607 firearms that we recovered last year compared to 487 the year before. But it has to be a collaborative effort. All of us working together, dealing with our, and when I talk about that, and I believe we have good partnerships here. Our community, we had a situation last night with an individual with a firearm and an assault, and detectives and officers were up and negotiators through the night that were able to bring that to a resolve early this morning when Chief Grinstead responded. And I will share with you this. When we talk about the dedication that men and women have to do this job, I'm thankful for their time and effort they put in. I want to share with you this information I just got. That we have recovered a firearm in that vehicle that we seized this morning. Now, I wish I could tell you what type of firearm it was and I can't run a ballistics analysis that quickly, but that's concerning to me. Because of citizen information, because of technology, because of the victim's recollection of what happened, we were able to locate that vehicle within 12 hours, obtain a search warrant, and a firearm has been recovered out of that vehicle. So I'll probably hear more about that later this evening, but I just wanted to share a little bit with our community. I think it's important. I see more and more citizens coming forward and sharing information. Sometimes it's a note passed, or I'll call you later, or I want to send in this information anonymously through our tips line. But I appreciate the relationship that we have in our community. I was very, very thankful to see not only a couple of situations we had last night that had good resolve, but I am very, very thankful, by the grace of God, we're not planning 3 funerals today. So if anybody has any questions, I'll try to address a couple of those. I just want to tell you on the front end, I don't want to say anything that's going to jeopardize our case. But like I said, the lead detective has been up all night long and is still here, and they're processing that vehicle right now. And I just got word they did recover a firearm from that vehicle.
So Chief, a couple months ago, we were here, yourself, your department, the mayor, and community leaders. You all did walk in the neighborhoods of the
Yes.
community and different things like that. Are you seeing any effectiveness of that, and how is that going on, and how often are you all doing that, or when will you all resume?
So I will tell you that we do those in situations where we have a traumatic event occur in the community. Once we have some information, there's 2 reasons we do those walks, and I appreciate you bringing that up. One is to check on the citizens. I mean, if they have information about what happened, that's great. And we appreciate that, but I want officers to engage myself and others in our city to talk to individuals who live in that block wherever that situation happened. If we use the example here on 26th Street, that we walk in that community and talk to people. Are you okay? Do you have kids? So many times in law enforcement, we respond, we handle a situation, and then we leave. And citizens are like, well, what happened? What do we hear? And we have to wait to see it on the news. I think we need to engage. I think it shows the community that we care. And my message to them, and the message that officers have, is 1, if you have any information and want to share that, but 2, we want you to know we care. We're not going anywhere. What we're not going to do is throw our hands up and say, you know what, we don't have any solutions. We're going to continue to be in these areas. We're going to continue to focus on the crime that occurs. We're going to try to prevent those crimes. We're going to try to have early intervention when we can, and we're going to try to hold those accountable who commit those crimes. And it is my commitment to the citizens of this community that we are going to focus on gun violence. We're not going to solve it overnight. I know that. I know that. I wish I had a magic wand or 8-ball that could, crystal ball, I guess, that could tell us this is when it's going to occur to be here in those situations. But this community matters to me. It matters to the men and women who are here. There's a reason the detective's here. He could have come in later today, but he stayed. He interviewed those individuals last night. We want to find the individual that's responsible and piece this situation together. I want to know if it's linked to anything else. I want that ballistic test to tell me, is that those casings that we recovered, are they linked to any other shootings here or anywhere else? But it's important that the community knows that as well. And so that's the reason we do those walks. Do I think they're effective? Absolutely. I think it shows. Now, I will tell you, sometimes individuals come out and talk to us, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes I see the blind open and they won't come to the door. But at least they know we're there. And I think that is a key part when we talk about community policing. It's being in the community and interacting, and at least opening the door to provide a venue for them if they have questions. Sometimes it's they asking us what happened, to provide them an avenue to share with us or talk to us. There's something to be said, when you knock on someone's door, talk to someone face to face, and you see the sincerity of we're here for a reason. And it doesn't matter what the temperature is. You've been out there when we've done these walks before. Sometimes citizens will come out and walk with us. Sometimes there's individuals that will come forward as we gather and pray before we walk and after. And it's always important to me to hear from the precinct captains and the precinct lieutenants that patrol those communities on a regular basis. Do you get feedback? What is citizens telling about what they see or what they hear, what their concerns are? So I think they are effective. I think it's something we just have to stay focused on. I'm committed, our department's committed to be vigilant till we address, as we continue to address gun violence and those that choose to partake in it.
So what can you tell the community in regards to their safety? Because like you stated, more and more firearms are being confiscated and different things like that. I mean, you have senior citizens who stay by themselves. I mean, you have kids who are roaming the blocks, the streets. What can you tell that single mom or that senior citizen? What can you guarantee them in regards to safety?
So guarantee is a big word. I was with you until you threw that one there. I wish that I was able to do that. What I can guarantee them is that this department is committed to address gun violence. But I can tell you, if it is left up to the police department alone, we're already in the negative. It can't just be a police issue. When we talk about an epidemic, right? When we see the individuals across the country that, whether it's a mass shooting or an individual, every loss of life matters to me. Every time that we have someone that is shot in this city, that suffers a gunshot wound, I'm getting a phone call. It doesn't matter what time of day it is. It's because it's important to me. I want to know what happened, what's the situation, how is that individual doing? What are the circumstances? What do we know? What information do we have? It's trying to prevent things before they occur. Oftentimes when we get called, we said earlier, it's something's already happened. How do we get ahead of that game? We have a great relationship with our school system. I was talking with schools this morning because all three of these individuals are teenagers, right? Our faith leaders, our Commonwealth attorney, we're talking all the time about cases, bringing better and better cases together. How do we bring a good case with technology and information, and what can we give the jury and the judge so that they have the evidence that they need in front of them? So my guarantee is that we're still committed. We're still here.
And is this, could you say, is this gang related or not? And the person that you all are looking for, is this a person that's been in your system before?
So I will tell you, I don't want to get into who the individual is or individuals are right now that are suspects, because I don't want to do anything to jeopardize the cases they're investigating. Like I said, we're not even 24 hours in.
Right.
When I asked that same question, do we believe that this is a gang-related issue? Do we believe we have two groups that are battling back and forth? And right now, the information we have is this is one or two individuals that have an issue with each other, and it has continued to escalate until now gun violence has been introduced. I'm concerned about retaliation, right? I've got three individuals, so it always concerns me when people aren't cooperative, but these individuals have been. But that's something that I'm always looking at. The detectives are looking at who knows who's affiliated with who may know someone that might be in a gang that might take it to do some retaliation type things. So all those things are the questions you're asking are the same things that we're looking at. It's the same things, same reason we've been here through the night. Is what is there anything we're missing? Is there anything that we haven't looked at from our crime analysts, from our partnership with the schools, our partnership with the Commonwealth Attorney's Office to see that we have anything in any other jurisdictions. We've already touched base with the Hampton Police Department. The analysts work with the other jurisdictions. So all those things go together. My message to the community is, if you see something, to say something. We're long past that stuff about people sharing information and snitching, and I understand, but Chief, we live in this community, and you all respond and then you're gone. I understand that. I'm not asking someone to come forward and say, hey, with a sign. It can be a phone call to communications. It can reach out to the detective. It can talk to, they can call our tips line and information. They can send email and text messages, whatever it might be, to again, put that piece of puzzle to what we have and what occurred, especially last night. So
let me ask you this.
Sure.
Can we ask?
Yeah, we need to ask
Yeah.
questions.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
That's
I
okay.
just thought y'all was- sorry.
Sure, it's okay. It's okay.
Go ahead.
Well, let's see. The individual, do you believe this was a drive-by shooting?
So I know that there was a vehicle that drove down the 800 block of 26th Street, and rounds were fired from that vehicle.
Okay. As the car was driving past, would you determine a drive-by, or did they?
Well, I guess whatever the term is going to be, I know, again, right, shot spotter activation is exactly where we got the calls from. We had individuals that were in a vicinity. The vehicle drives down. There are rounds fired from that vehicle. We have recovered that vehicle within about 12 hours just this morning. They've just obtained a search warrant for it, and they're in the process of searching it right now. And I
Can you
just
say
got
what
word.
make and model
I
that
just
is?
I don't want to do that at this point, because if anyone else comes forward with information, I don't want to put out there, hey, this is the vehicle we recovered. Oh yeah, I want them to tell us what vehicle will match that with what we have. So I don't want to do anything, like I said, it's a fair question, but I just don't want to do anything to jeopardize the case as the investigation goes on. Because there's certainly a lot more interviews that we'll be conducting.
Right, okay.
Do you think there are multiple people behind this shooting, like multiple people in the car, multiple people who shot?
You know, it's a fair question. It's one of the things that we're looking at. I think we start, so when we talk about, when we canvass a neighborhood or when we do a walk in the community, those are questions we ask. What did you see? How many people did you see? Where were they sitting at in the vehicle? Those type things. Was it more than one? We'll be looking at the casings that we recovered. I want to know, did they come from one firearm or were multiple firearms used? That'll kind of give us an indication of how many shooters that we have. So right now, we're still, like I said, we're not even 24 hours in. But there's been a lot of good information that's come forward. Citizens who live in that community, our victims, our technology, and then the forensics evidence that we're starting to recover. All those pieces are of the puzzle. And the detectives now have to put all those things together. And when some information comes forward, it kind of directs us in what questions we need to ask next.
Can you say how many?
I can tell you it was multiple. I can tell you it was multiple, not the exact number at this point. I can tell you they're running them through our NIBIN system. We have that system here ourselves that's able to do links much quicker than sending it to the state lab. But how many individuals were in that vehicle, I just don't want to comment on that yet. We're not exactly sure, but I would say at least one or two. We know of one, but maybe two.
And the people that got shot.
Yes, sir.
Well, did they live in that?
Yes, they lived in that immediate area. Yes.
Did they live in the house?
They live in that immediate area. I'm not going to give their addresses away. We're talking about juveniles. I wouldn't do that regardless, but I can tell you they all live, two of them live on that street and another one is close proximity.
Well, I talked to some neighbors and they said, well, we were talking about those kids who live there. They know them, they like them. They said there was a whole bunch of other, like about 5 or 6 other kids visiting, other teenage boys visiting, kind of hanging out in front of the house at the time. So I didn't know if the people that were targeted were people that lived in the like teens that lived in the house or someone elsewhere. Or
I understand, citizens what they see, but I'm going to be bound by what I give you are facts. I can't tell you that until those investigations and those interviews are done. What I've tried to share with you today are things that we know. You just mentioned multiple people there. When we talk about gun violence, right? When you talk about shots fired like that, the people that aren't even a part of the situation, whatever that argument might be, right? Whatever that beef is between these two groups or two individuals. Concerning part is that there's individuals that live in that block that have nothing to do, that may not know anything about this situation. That when that happens, that's concerning to me. That's why it's so important for citizens and individuals, if they see something, to say something, to get involved, to play a part in what has occurred, or to share any information that they may know or they see. And it might be something very, very small, but it plays a big, big part in putting the whole picture together.
Was there any return fire from the victims or anybody that was out on the street?
It was a question that we looked at this morning. Right now, I would have to say we don't believe so, but I can't tell you that for sure because we're still going back and canvassing that area. When we collect all the evidence there, that's one of the things that will probably help indicate the number of casings and the type of casings that we have. Are they all in one geographical area? Or are they in separate, or some in the yard in front of a particular address or location, some in the street, and are they the same or different? So once all that has been collected, anything that we recover from this vehicle will kind of help tie all that in. I don't believe so at this time, but I am not 1,000% sure on that.
How the parents in this, were parents home and how they're feeling right now?
So I'm just going to touch base on how they're feeling. I can't even imagine the scenes that we go on and talk to family members that just ask the question, why? I can't believe this has happened. Why? I can't even imagine what they're going through. I'm thankful that each of these shootings are considered non-life threatening at this point. We're talking about high school kids. We just finished our graduation 5 or 6 weeks ago. They have their whole life ahead of them. That's why when we go back to what I said earlier, it's concerning to me that individuals who pick up a firearm have no regard for someone else's life. The individuals that are struck by gunfire, the individuals and family members that are impacted, are those that pull the trigger, that immediately put their family in the middle of the potential of losing someone, whether it is retaliation that we always have to be cognizant of, or into the justice system when these individuals are identified and arrested. And I fully believe that we'll make an arrest in this case. The information has been very, very good as it's come forward. My faith in the detectives and what they have already, not even, like I said, not even 24 hours into this. But I can't imagine a mother or father, myself, getting notified that a loved one has suffered a gunshot wound at the hands of someone else. And that's why it is all of our, right, all of the citizens of Newport News, the business owners, right, our faith leaders, the different entities that we have within the city to look out for one another, to look out for each other's property and neighborhood and community. And if something seems wrong, if you hear something, if you see something, to let us know. I would much rather respond to a situation where someone is concerned about a situation that's happened or an incident and it be nothing at all, as opposed to getting a call at 9 o'clock at night and we're putting up crime scene tape and transporting 3 individuals to an area hospital.
3 people shot, 2 outside, 2 were found shot outside the house, and then 1 was shot inside, right?
So,
So there was a bullet hole on the front door, so I didn't know
yeah, I don't want to get in, just because of interviews that are still taking place, I don't want to get into where everyone was located at. I think individuals, suffer a gunshot wound and then move from one location to another, but I don't want to get into who was sitting where when shots came and where they were shot at. I just don't want to hinder those investigations until we know a little bit more from people that we're still interviewing.
if, can you say, oh, go ahead.
I was just saying.
Oh,
you would-
I'm good.
Okay.
Can you just say, what time the vehicle was located and?
The vehicle, so the shooting happened about 10 minutes till 9.
Mhm.
The vehicle was located about 9 o'clock this morning
Okay.
in our city. Okay,
All right.
we good?
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Sorry to do this at 5 o'clock. We just had some, as you can tell, we just had some other things going on today.
Yeah, no, that's, we gotta get a story
we
on in
appreciate
30
it,
minutes,
Chief.
but we appreciate it.
Appreciate
Oh,
the
thanks,
help
man.
out.
As always.